who's actually going to get the most out of a 130-inch outdoor kitchen island? Who can safely walk away? And does the price make sense for a family that just wants to grill a few burgers on weekends? That's the decision you'll be wrestling with before you drop a chunk of cash on any modular outdoor kitchen, especially when the space you have isn't endless and the weather can be unpredictable. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I spent the last few weeks looking at floor plans, talking to a couple of backyard renovation friends, and scrolling through the handful of reviews the Mont Alpi 130 Island has managed to collect. Let's start with the basics that matter once the box is opened. This isn't just a grill you bolt to a patio table, it's a full-size island that brings together a 32-inch, 4-burner gas grill, a built-in Kegerator, a side burner for sauces, and granite countertops that spill over the edges like a waterfall. The whole thing sits on a heavy-gauge stainless steel frame, and the knobs are lit with LED rings that stay on after you turn the burners off, which is a handy reminder that something is still hot. The interior of the grill also has low-profile lights, so you can actually see the food as you flip it, even after the sun goes down. If you live in a suburb where the backyard is big enough to host a block party, this island could become the centerpiece of every summer get-together. Imagine you've invited 15 people, you've got a spread of grilled chicken, veggie skewers, and a couple of craft beers on tap. The Kegerator lets you pull a cold brew without having to run back inside with a six-pack, while the side burner keeps a pot of sauce simmering at the perfect temperature. The granite countertop gives you room to carve a roast, assemble burgers, and even lay out a cutting board for salads, all without worrying about heat warping a flimsy surface. Now, let's be honest about the trade-offs. A 130-inch footprint is massive. It will swallow a large portion of any medium-sized yard, and you'll need to make sure there's enough clearance for the grill's ventilation and for people to move around safely. The island is modular, which means you can reorder the sections to fit a slightly narrower space, but you still end up with a minimum width of about 8 feet. If you live in a city condo with a balcony or a small patio, you'll be forced to skip this one. Also, the granite countertops, while visually impressive, are heavy. You'll need a solid foundation, usually a concrete slab or reinforced deck, to avoid flexing over time. That adds installation cost that isn't reflected in the price tag on Amazon. Speaking of price, the headline number looks steep, but the value is really about the sum of its parts. Most people would buy a separate grill, a standalone Kegerator, and a set of stone countertops, then pay for the labor to integrate them. Doing that piecemeal often ends up costing more than the all-in-one island, especially when you factor in matching stainless steel frames and the LED control panel that Mont Alpi designed to sync all the burners. For a family that entertains regularly and wants a cohesive look without hiring a custom fabricator, the bundled price can actually be a win. On the other hand, if you're the type who fires up the grill once a month and stores the propane tank in the garage, the extra features may feel like overkill. The side burner is great for simmering sauces, but you could achieve the same thing with a portable stove for a fraction of the cost. The Kegerator is a fun perk, but you'll need to keep a CO tank and a tap system stocked, which adds ongoing expense and maintenance. In short, the island shines when you're looking to turn your backyard into a full-service cooking station. It falls short if you just need a reliable grill. Let's talk about the practical strengths that show up after the first summer of use. The LED knobs are more than a gimmick, they stay illuminated even after the burners shut off, which is a subtle safety cue for kids or pets that might wander close. The interior cook lights actually make a difference when you're grilling in the evening. You can see the sear on a steak without guessing. The granite's waterfall edge not only looks upscale but also prevents water from pooling on the countertop, so cleaning is a quick rinse rather than a mop job. Storage is generous, with cabinets on both sides of the grill and a pull-out drawer for utensils, which means you won't have to sprint back to the house for tongs or a spatula. The weaknesses are equally specific. Because the island is made of stainless steel, it will show fingerprints and smudges, so you'll find yourself wiping it down more often than you might expect for a set-and-forget piece. The grill's burners are high output, which is fantastic for searing, but they can be a bit hungry on propane if you're not used.